Hello everyone and welcome to F125. Yes, a massive thank you to EA for providing me an early copy of the game. We finally got our hands on it. I think it's safe to say it's probably one of the most hyped up F1 games we've had in quite a few years at this point. But yeah, for this first video though, EA have given us exclusive access to Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the all-new Breaking Point storyline. All content is going to be starting to release from next Tuesday, so if you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourselves subscribed. We are mighty close to 140,000 subscribers right now, so hopefully you guys, yeah, if you just hit that sub button, get us to that goal, because we're aiming to try and hit 150k by the end of the year. I've gone through, I've tweaked some of my settings ready for this, but this is, like I said, this is going to be the first video we record, so I'm just going to kind of jump into it and see what happens as well. Of course, Breaking Point, whether this is kind of the final part of the story or whether we're going to see something in the future, we don't really know. But this year we've got 4 difficulty levels: normal, challenging, hard, and then expert. We're going to be doing this on expert mode, of course. It's from AI 85 to 110, so we should still stand a good chance of being able to complete these challenges without too much difficulty. Of course, assists on this game, I run absolutely nothing, as always. We're going to leave, obviously, the difficulty there. Pit stop experience, apparently that matters, is going to be set to immersive. And as you can see, everything else as well will obviously run standard damage mode as well for this one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm sure cutscenes are going to cut in here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, F125 finally here. Let's do this thing.
Previously, in Breaking Point.
You know, the first time you see a car, your car, alongside Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, that's what it's all about.
Aiden, listen. Between you and me, I don't think this team is right for me.
Callie Mayer becomes the first woman ever to win the F2 championship.
What about your dad? Has he called to congratulate you yet, Callie?
Nope. Next question.
Devon Butler now. Oh, that's not good! Oh no! Devon Butler spins! He's out!
It was his hearing. He'd been keeping it from us.
Done.
I think maybe he'd been trying to keep it from himself. So if Devon, your son, can't drive, how about your daughter?
Callie Mayer becomes the first female driver of the modern era to participate in an F1 race. Here she comes! But there's contact between the two Connosport drivers!
Aiden, are you alright? It's just another Butler.
The two Connosport teammates not exactly doing each other any favours this afternoon.
What is Aiden playing at?
I thought he was too good for the team. He just had a bit of an attitude problem.
Enough! It has to stop. Understand?
I must take care of the business, Kelly. Who do you think will inherit it after I'm gone?
Well, Devon, obviously. I wanted you to fight for me. He never listened to me. He always listened to you.
You always like to leave all this behind, don't you?
It's the most difficult thing I've ever done.
I didn't choose this, Casper.
I've had an entire season of you whispering in people's ears. I'm asking you to leave the meeting.
You can't be serious.
This is not your team. And after today, it might not even exist.
Coming, Devon?
Yeah, I'm thinking I might actually stay.
You all know what's at stake. If we race as individuals today, the team dies.
I'm sorry if I was ever.
I will forgive you on one condition.
What's that?
You get your share of the points.
Aiden's out! I heard.
Sure about this?
I'm sure about everything.
Is this a team order?
She's not going to make up that much ground. It can't be done. Just cruise it in, Cal. Trust me, you watch her go.
And to the checker flag for one final time. That is some race from Callie Mayer.
What an incredible performance by her today. Connosport sure will be very delighted with that one.
Well, a good little catch-up there of obviously everything we saw inside F123. Boy, oh boy, That feels a long time ago. But here we are then in Bahrain, day 3 of 2024 preseason testing. After obviously the nail-biting finish in their 2023 season, Connor Sport head into preseason testing here in Bahrain as a clear underdog on the grid. However, the team under new management has been hard at work looking to prove the doubters wrong. I apologise, a lot of this text seems to be hidden right behind you guys on the camera, so if I'm kind of sat like that, you'll know why.
Well, here we are then, the final day of pre-season testing here in Bahrain.
It's been good, hasn't it, so far, Crofty? We've seen all the teams out there, putting in the miles, putting in the laps, and we come away from it still not knowing who's going to be the team to beat. It looks super competitive as always.
No, you're not wrong, Ant. Red Bull and Ferrari have looked impressive as expected, but it's Connor Sport that have really been the talk of the paddock so far this week.
Well, I really hope that this means we're going to kind of get full pre-season testing inside F1 25.
Over the past couple of days, we're all really happy, but let's make this a big, strong finish, yeah? Yeah, copy.
Well, I think we might be trying to go then for some kind of fast lap here.
Just use this lap to get accustomed to the changes, and once you feel like you're happy enough with everything, you can come back to the pits at any time to end the session.
Okay, so that's quite cool then. We are literally just out trying to get some laps on the board.
Great. I'll leave it up to you.
I don't know exactly what we need to do to get accustomed to the car, but of course this gives us our first look at the kind of tweaks and changes that we've got for Bahrain inside F1 2025. So, obviously, definitely noticing the front end is slightly less forgiving than F1 24. It always felt like last year's game, the car had way too much front end. Curbs around Bahrain as well, very, very different.
Just getting back into the swing of things.
But of course, yeah, on this game as well, definitely going to try and get used to some of the understeer that of course now is back. Of course, on last year's game, you could just throw the car in with just as much steering lock as you wanted and get it to kind of grip up. You can see, obviously, we've got all of like the HUD settings and everything like that, as you would come to expect. Just starting to get the hang of this car, though, as we make our way back up the hill in towards the final corners. We went purple in Sector 1. Will we go purple in Sector 2? Yes, we will. Not too sure what lap times we've seen other drivers using there. But on the overtake mode then, as we make our way down in towards the final corner, is this going to be the fastest lap of pre-season testing? Normally doesn't equate to much when you get into the real-life Formula 1 season. But anyway, out of the final corner, it is going to be a 1 minute 32.4. That puts us top of the board, and the team, there you go, the team want us to be a 134.1, so hopefully we're going to smash that one out of the park, and we've already gone 2 seconds quicker. Oh, my first ever lap on the game there, big slide through the first couple of corners though. I'll be honest, I'm still not a big fan of the HUD inside this year's game. It's not quite what I would want, but, you know, I get that they want to kind of change it up each year. And hopefully it kind of presents information in a better fashion.
Please, how's it feel? Yep, sure thing. Car's feeling great.
Definitely have to brake a little bit earlier than we did on F1 24. But again, this car, you know, it doesn't have a setup or anything like that on it. So, of course, isn't going to be as responsive as I would probably want it to be. I don't know if we can make any other kind of tweaks and changes. I keep accidentally telling the team I want a box. I need to just change around my buttons a little bit because the overtake mode and the radio button seem to be the wrong way around at the moment. There's your camera angle. So learning more and more there as having a look inside the Connor Sport car up in towards the final couple of turns. Only green through Sector 2, so clearly some quick times coming in from the other drivers as well then. But down in towards the final corner, let's just beat that target time. And maybe that'll be the last objective the team have got for us here. Nice to smash things out nice and quickly in your first session back. And there we go, a 32.0. We've just got to head back to the pit lane then.
Excellent stuff, mate. We're seeing really positive data from that run. So just when you're done, bring it back into the pits.
There we go then, happy with the car, everything else. So I'm going to just do this final lap, and I will see you guys back in the pits. Making our way then through the final corner, tweaking the brake bias around and a few other bits and pieces. Of course, there will be setups over on Mat2 Racing coming out every single day.
I've already told Casper, let the car run a little wider out of turn 4. You can really extend the track there.
I don't know. We're already pretty close to track limits at that point.
Well, you're leaving time on the table, so just let it run a little wide. It's all
Yeah,
good.
but you're not the one behind the wheel, Dev.
We might be pushing our luck with the steward, so we'll have to side with Callie on this one.
Ask Casper, he'll agree with me.
Yeah, they're here now. Just give me a second. Devon, just the man. So we look through the data, and if we adjust the ERS harvesting rate, we should see some improvement on those turns.
Told you.
Right, okay, settle down. Got someone who wants to speak to you all. Right, they're listening now. Davidoff.
Good. So, as your new team owner, I thought it only right that I check up on my investments. And I'm glad I did. Casper's just filled me in on the lap times. I just wanted to say, well done. I'm impressed. But Red Bull's numbers are better, so there's still room for improvement.
Well, now we know what we're up against. I'm sure me and
Callie,
Aidan could...
don't have time to chat. All I wanted to say is that I'm expecting great things from our drivers this season. We all are. Just don't let yourselves down.
Yeah, no worries, Dad. We're all over it.
Good man. I'll fly out to Bahrain as soon as I can. Ciao.
Well, he's right, you know. With times like these, we could be real contenders this season.
Well, I've got to admit, it is a little bit weird, obviously, going back into 2024. I know we're only a few races into 2025, but kind of seeing all the drivers at their old teams. Even Valtteri Bottas, I spotted him there, was quite a weird feeling. But the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, then several races into the 2024 season. While still early, Connor Sport have had an encouraging start to the 2024 season. A series of impressive performances has surprised fans, pundits, and other teams on the grid alike. Let's see what we've got ahead of us.
We had an incredible start to the 24 season. Better than any of us could have imagined.
And do you think any of that was down to Davidoff Butler buying the team?
Undoubtedly. I mean, Davidoff had a way of pushing people's buttons to motivate them, as he would call it. Besides, both his kids were at Connor Sport, so if there were any disagreements, which there were, he could be very...
persuasive. He would always get what he wanted. Why do you think I sold the team to him at the end of 2023?
Well, Andre O'Connor there, making, he's a bit of a Fred Vasseur character, isn't he? You're the boss, though. Throughout the course of Breaking Point 3, you'll not only control the drivers, but also Connor Sport's team principal, Casper Ackerman. During these visits to the team data center, Casper will have to make difficult decisions covering a range of topics during department events. How you choose to respond to these events will have a direct effect on many things, such as your performance and reputation. They may even affect bonus objectives for upcoming races. So all good to know. I think we had this in 2023. So Davidoff has arranged for a luxury watch brand, Eichenberger? I'm never going to be able to pronounce that one. Anyway, they're going to be running an advertising campaign featuring Devon, Callie, and himself to promote their new product line. Eckenberger have been in contact asking what might be possible to arrange the filming. Currently, it would have to replace a pre-scheduled meeting about simulator data. How do you want to deal with this request? I think in this instance, we need to probably prioritize that early on. We need to get the money rolling in. Money is key inside Formula 1 as well there, so all important stuff. So obviously between story events, you'll return to the hub. Here you can check the latest news and your social feed, emails, and even receive phone calls from other characters throughout the course of Breaking Point 3. The character you control in these hubs can change from visit to visit, each one offering a different perspective on life at Connor Sport. Of course, you've got the performance and reputation ratings as you always get. So obviously it gives you a brief rundown on obviously how performance works. If you've played Breaking Point before or anything like that, you'll obviously already have an idea of how that kind of works. And then reputation again is obviously how well the media, fans, and the F1 world perceive you and your team. Of course, everything you do inside the game as well has, responds to all of those kind of things as well. So very, very important that you make the right calls. Do we have any interesting news articles? Apparently Aiden and Callie are not particularly friendly at the moment. And we got a phone call coming through as well. It's all going on. I didn't just decline, did I? No, I was going to say.
How's everything shaping up?
Pretty good. We're just about to go over the data from FP3. I want to encourage Callie to adjust the brake balance. She's still locking up coming out of turn 7. And as for Aiden,
Yeah, good. Thank you, Casper. Thanks. Yep. Casper, listen, we need another strong showing at Imola.
Of course.
Getting a great result in Ferrari homeland would show that we're serious about making the top 3.
And we are, as you know. We've delivered a good car this year, so
But there's always a better car around the corner. Also, I understand my old friend Ernst has been in touch about a shoot with some watches.
Yeah, Eigenberger. Yes, I've given it the go-ahead.
Very good. It's important to me. I'll tell Devon, you tell California. Anyhow, I got another call to make. Must be off. Ciao.
Well, I want to know how we're locking up at turn 7 around Imola, because of course that's the fairly flat-out corner after Tosa, the hairpin, so... Yeah, how on earth are you locking up on the exit there? I'm not really too sure. It's completely taken me out of the realism. But anyway, let's head to the race then here. Let's see what we can do in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
What a terrific battle this is. Down the main straight at Imola. Connor Sport against Red Bull. Verstappen against Mayer. And there's contact. Into the gravel goes Mayer. Verstappen races on.
It was always going to be close going into that corner. Tough to go around the outside. Verstappen was so hard though, so aggressive, as we often see.
Everything okay, Callie?
Where was I supposed to go there?
I know. We'll talk about it later. Right now, let's get your head down, because it looks like you've escaped unscathed.
There we go then, Max Verstappen doing his usual line. Let's just try and see if we can move our way back up the order. We've got just over 5 laps left of this race here from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And we've got to try and make some moves. Luckily, we're on a set of the soft compound tyre, as we get to have a look at, of course, all the changes that we've got to the Imola circuit. Of course, all based on the real-life 2024 weekend. So that gravel trap, that's going to make that chicane a lot less forgiving than what we've seen in previous years. There was one of the Williams in the way. That is still Logan Sargent in that car. Oh, here we go. Okay, so they've tried to change the way rewind works on this game. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit weird.
To either pause, fast forward, or rewind, and once you've found exactly where you want to go again from, just follow the on-screen prompt to head back into the action.
There we go then. Marky giving us a little hint there as to how everything works. And, well, I'm sure, hopefully we're not going to use too many rewinds inside F1 25, but yeah, maybe just they're struggling a little bit down in towards that corner, as I need to try and make sure I move the brake bias back. Oh, it's Logan Sargent. I mean, he's true to life, isn't he? All in the way there through the final couple of corners, but we'll get that brake bias shifted backwards. I'm not too sure how I didn't get any DRSs. We're actually going to be under pressure from George Russell back into turn 1, so not really a fan of that one. And, well, that's going to make our life even more difficult then late on in the day here, but yeah, hopefully we can try and make a run back on George pretty soon. Oscar Piastri 5 seconds up the road, as the car definitely feels a lot more sensitive. Like I said, you've got certainly less front-end performance, but it's also kind of more realistic. You know, you can't just barrel it in. It can still be very, very pointed. It's sort of down the inside of Russell again there. So I really thought he'd try and move back out to open up his run through the corner. We can definitely make moves then around this circuit there, as I love all the new curbing around this circuit. Imola, it was always great fun. It's kind of still kept that magic of trying to maintain momentum.
1.5 seconds.
But does now feel, yeah, a lot more how Imola kind of should. Well, Aiden Jackson seems to be struggling a lot more this time with the car at the moment, but we've still got a Carlos Sainz-shaped Ferrari between ourselves and our teammate there. Looks like Verstappen has moved his way through and is now pushing for that final podium place himself. So as we will get the DRS then to start lap 14 here. Only 3 laps to go. The gap to Oscar down to about 3.6 seconds, but yeah, we are really starting to run out of time here. The other objective, of course, is just to finish in P5, which hopefully we are about to do then as we'll get past Sainz. I'm sorry, we were there? Oh, sorry, P5 even, not P4, which is a little bit of a shame. That same our opening lap, we struggled so much, but a second taken out of Piastri through those first couple of corners. We've got more and more lap cars out of the way. Zhou Guanyu is not going to be one of them, though. Running down in P20. Come on, Sauber, get out of the way, man. Thank you very much. But I'm also not sure if I'm kind of forgetting how bad energy recharge is, obviously, in a default car inside F1 24. But we're definitely not able to charge up the battery pack in the way I would want to right now. Luckily, that's hopefully not going to cause too many problems towards the end there as we get a big slide out of the final corner. Try and get a run on Verstappen back into turn 1. We'll move to the outside line yet again of the Dutchman there. He didn't let us do it first time round in the cinematic. That time round that we will let me through was just see there, whenever you dip a wheel in the gravel, really just throw a lot of dirt up onto the tyre. But is this the battle for the race win? I think it might be. So Perez, I believe that is, running up in P2 right now. So that's pretty unrealistic inside F1 24. But hopefully, or inside the 2024 season, I should be saying. But maybe, just maybe, then we can try and fight for the win here, despite the sloppy start to this race. As Oscar Piastri, this is the objective by the end. But yeah, Perez, could we see him trying to get a move? Charles Leclerc leading in front of the Tifosi here. Of course, Ferrari had an absolute disaster in the 2025 Italian Grand Prix. Can't even remember what happened in 2024. For them, of course, it was just the battle between Lando and Max that everybody remembers from that GP then. But again, just trying to bide our time, waiting for the DRS. It's definitely much, much easier to lock up the wheels as well, which is, really fantastic. I want this game to kind of feel a little less forgiving. F1 24 was just a bit too easy there as well. The new fastest lap of the day. 210 miles an hour as we approach turn 1 again. Charles Leclerc really does give Perez the squeeze down in towards turn 1, but in the first ever Challenger breaking point, things are getting pretty exciting here. Let's see whether Perez again is going to find an opportunity. There isn't many other spots around this lap to really go for overtakes. Lando Norris proved into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane is one of them here as well. That inside curb really does unsettle the rear end of the car as well. So definitely going to have to be a bit more careful. You cannot push these machines in the same way you could inside F1 24. It definitely feels just a little bit more kind of sim-like. But let's see if we can try and get a run then on Perez out of the Aqua Minerale section of the lap. Again, try to use a little bit of battery coming towards those final chicane of the lap there, and we're going to absolutely barrel our way through. Get a warning for a collision against Sergio Perez there, but we need to be close to Charles Leclerc by the time we make our way through the final couple of corners. Will it be the Monegasque man winning this race though? He's got no battery left as we make our way through the final turn. Will we have enough speed to get to him before the line? It's going to be mighty close. Leclerc just hangs on.
Take care of the car on the way in.
Gotta say, it's been another good day for Connor Sport today. A string of positive performances recently has seen them establish themselves well and truly ahead of the midfield.
Yeah, they're in the top 3 now, Crofty. A great season so far, and I've been really impressed with both Mayer and Jackson.
I don't think you're the only one there, Ants. We'll be watching their season with interest. Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Callie, quite a fierce battle with Max out there today. How did you find going up against him in a situation like that?
Well, here we go then. Of course, back with some of the quizzes inside the game. I hope this is implemented back into career mode. I think I relish being able to fight him inside the sport.
I mean, even the best drivers can crack. Max is obviously great, but if you keep the pressure on every lap, eventually that's going to pay off. And I'm not about to give anyone an easy time out there, least of all him.
You're now third in the Constructors. That's the best performance we've ever seen from Connor Sport. So what do you put it down to?
I think we're going to definitely see the team. Oh no, Casper, I suppose, is a bit of a baller, isn't he? He's a bit of a Kimi Räikkönen character inside this one. Sadly, we're not a level 3 reputation just yet, so we're going to hype him up.
A lot of it is Casper. He used to be a driver, so he's been through all of this before and he knows what we're up against out there. And he really keeps us focused on what counts and makes the right calls when it matters. Obviously, the drivers still need to do their job, but a team can easily become a shambles without the right person in charge. And thankfully, Casper has always been so brilliant.
So do you feel like you're sending a message to the rest of the grid with these kinds of results?
Yeah, I think we're definitely here to compete with the best. You know, I reckon we could be fighting for the championship.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Connor Sports still have this reputation as a new team or a small team, but we're so much more than that. We're here to compete with the best in the world. On our day, we can beat anybody on the grid. And so far this season, we're proving that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Well, the interviews are certainly a big improvement from what we saw inside F1 24. But as we head to the post-race then here, the racing incident between herself and Verstappen aside, Callie Mayer put in a fantastic performance in Imola, managing to salvage the race for another impressive finish for Connor Sport. Of course, there is the option to do all of these as Callie, and I believe all of them as Aiden as well. So I might have to do 2 separate playthroughs of this at some point down the line. But let's go wait and see who we're talking to.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes.
Evan.
Hey, Dad. Just congratulating the guys on a job well done.
Yeah, there's no time for that. We all did well. How are preparations coming on for Monaco?
I'm sure everything's in hand.
Listen, Evan. We don't have time to rest on our laurels. I want the race data analysed and full diagnostic reports on Casper's desk before we begin packing down. Listen, you've dropped the ball on this one. You cannot take your foot off the gas, not when Connor Sport is this close to success. I expect you to take charge. Show the team what a leader is.
Yeah, well, it's a bit difficult, that, Dad. I'm team liaison. Basically, I pass notes between departments, not exactly leadership materials.
Devon, you have got to focus on the bigger picture. Casper.
Davidoff. Devon, can you give us a minute? Just need to talk to your father.
Yeah, sure thing, boss. I'll just go and liaise, yeah?
Davidoff, why so full on?
I'm just trying to motivate him, is all. He needs to stay focused.
Yeah, I'm talking about the team. They've just had a fantastic result and you're... Just give them some space to simmer down, to celebrate.
Of course. You're right. But we cannot lose momentum now, Casper. Everything must be in its place.
What are you planning?
What do you mean?
I've seen that face before. I mean, whatever it is, just keep me informed. I don't want any nasty surprises.
I'm just looking out for my family, that's all.
Okay.
Well, we really have seen a big transformation, haven't we? Of, you know, it always used to be Aiden Jackson, Devon Butler even, that was kind of the hated guy inside this game. Towards the end of the F1 23 breaking point, it kind of felt that Aiden Jackson was starting to become, you know, a bit of a pain as a character. Now it is just, you know, Davidoff, who is just a really awkward pain for everybody, it feels like here. But anyway, we've got a little bit of news, obviously, that's come through. Callie obviously shining in Imola. Over on the social media side of things as well. Here we go. We've got a phone call coming in again. Let's see. Davidoff, of course.
Hi.
Callie, sorry to miss the debrief. What a race.
Yeah, thanks.
Listen, let me take you out for dinner.
to congratulate you.
What? One of you and Aiden's little soirees? No, thank you.
Hey, don't be like that, California. You're always welcome. I always invite you and you always say no.
You invited me once in Monaco when I found out you were going without me.
That was just a misunderstanding.
In fact, I think it was Aiden who invited me.
I'm not getting into this. Look, are you coming or not?
Dad, I'm sure you mean well, but the last time we tolerated each other long enough to eat a meal, you spent the whole evening telling me to sit up straight. I could do without the stress. I just want to relax. I just want to enjoy my evening without feeling you're judging me all night.
Fine. I'm sure you'll have a perfectly good time on your own.
Tell you what, yep, Davidoff is a real pain so far in this one. But anyway, let's head into Chapter 2. Let's see what we got cooking. Here we go then. We're just being straight thrown in here at the Austrian Grand Prix. 11 laps remaining of this race.
Start, Aiden. Now's our time to push. Come on. Got that.
So apparently then we've got to overtake Lando Norris before lap 13 in this one. So if it's a 35% race, we won't have that long to go. This is 25%. Yeah, there you go, 25%. That's not so bad there, as clearly something's happened to Callie to be... She's either way behind or way in front, as there is Norris 3.6 seconds up the road. So we've got to work that out again. We want to try and get around everybody. So a little bit of a wobble. The inside curbs, I'm loving that. Far less forgiving than they were inside F1 24. That was a fantastic change. Ready for this year's game. But yeah, we just got to try and use the DRS where we can. Charles Leclerc, the AI definitely struggling to get the drive off of that final corner, as we will have a look around the outside of Charlie Boy. Back into turn 1 there. Oh, again. Luckily, I kind of used my old braking point there, because I probably would have outbroke myself otherwise. George Russell then, as we make our way back up the hill, and well, now it's shaping up a bit like the real-life race did. Verstappen and Norris having a battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Fantastic to see for us if they come to blows. It's just like Russell managed in 2024. That could give us an opportunity to try and claim victory there, but Verstappen, as always, he has got the bit between his teeth. He does not want to end up being vulnerable. But let's see if again then we can try and get a run out of the final 2 corners. Of course, normally with these challenges, it's either you have to run all the way to the end, or as soon as you make the move on the leader, that is kind of the challenge done and dusted. So we'll wait and see if we can get a run on Lando back out of turn 1. As always, try and nail that apex through the first corner. Not like that though. Bit of a trip through the gravel, as we'll try and get the power back down yet again. I mean, yeah, you've got to be so careful. The curbs now, you're definitely going to have to think twice about when you're using them. As just see, again, locking up at the top of the hill. This is a great challenge. Like I said, it definitely feels a bit more sim-like. Well, down the inside of Verstappen, maybe. I'm loving the way the AI kind of defend as well. They will really force you onto a compromised line and then try to kind of gather themselves up through the exit there. I mean, look at that, Verstappen trying to go around the outside through 2 corners as well. So definitely, you know, I'm really hoping they've kind of taken the last couple of years to rework a few bits and pieces like that. Through some of the high downforce corners, you can definitely still kind of chuck the front end in, and it will grip up, but hopefully second time's the charm then for a move against Lando Norris back into turn 1. Around the outside, and there we go.
Some brilliant laps out there at the Red Bull ring today, especially from our race leader, Aiden Jackson.
And his teammate, Mayo's making up ground out there as we speak.
An impressive overtake on the cards. Is it? Is it? Yes, it is! Mayo moves another place closer to her teammate in first.
Aiden's in first?
Copy that. Aiden is in first.
Can I catch him?
Let's go and find out, mate. Come on.
Here we go. Not going to see any number 1 and 2 driver status down at Connor Sport then. Drivers are going to be allowed to race for the victory here, and we'll have to put in some really impressive laps. Now you can see we've got to try and do it all again in the second car. Hopefully not for very long. I thought we were going to be battling Perez for like P13 or something in this Grand Prix, but let's see how many cars then we can try and get on the run up the hill. If I had to guess, I would assume the AI are at about like 90% difficulty. it might just be 85 there. Oh, just really struggling. As soon as you lock up those fronts, it's far more difficult to kind of try and get them back operating in the right window. But we got 7 laps to try and complete this objective there as Verstappen again actually just broke a little bit earlier than I was expecting, sending it to the inside of the Dutchman. But we are straight up into P2 and a 2.5 second gap to Aiden. I'll rocket up into the back of Aiden Jackson by the end of lap 13 here, so hopefully we're not going to see a collision like we did in the IRL Grand Prix, but hopefully we can try and make the move past our teammate here. Callie's pace is much, much stronger at this stage of the day, is rolling on that throttle at the final turn. And we are up into P1 then. I think we've now just got to cruise round towards the end. So hopefully I'll see you guys at the checkered flag. But it looks like there is a battle going on between Charles Leclerc and George Russell towards the end of this race. But as we make our way through the final few corners, Connor Sport, we are here to fight once again. That podium back in Imola was pretty good. But a 1-2 finish today when everything runs perfectly. It is going to be a dominant display through the final couple of corners. Callie Mayer is going to be back on the top step of the podium here at Austria. That is an important 1-2 finish.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Woo! Yes!
In a league of their own today, and what a day for Connor Sport.
It really is, Crofty. There'll be people out there wondering when was this team going to slip up, but so far they haven't. It's been a great performance from both of their drivers.
And that performance puts them in second place in the Constructors' Championship within striking distance of Red Bull. Can they top the table? Well, with performances like that, I'd say they could.
Thank you for staying behind. Connor Sport's flying this season, flying. We're one place behind Red Bull. But it's a long season. I won't be around for a race or two. I have a bit of business I can't avoid. So I thought we'd get together and make sure that you understand what I expect from you in my absence.
Well, you said it yourself. We're flying, right? So we just keep doing what we're doing.
No. If we're to catch Red Bull, take Connor Sport to the next level, each of you is going to have to step it up. Devon, you need to take charge more. You're a butler, a man of action. You need to start acting like one.
What's Casper said about that?
Callie, in my absence, follow Devon's lead. No arguments.
Finally.
Casper will be calling the shots, as usual. But Devon speaks for me. Is that clear?
Sure. No problem.
So, when we reach the top of the table, Connor Sport will no longer be the hunter, but the hunted, and every team will be gunning for you. So, Aiden, if there are any disagreements anywhere in the team, don't be afraid to step in. Casper is going to be coming under increasing stress over the next few races. I need to make sure there's someone there with a cool head, able to smooth things over. And to keep half an eye on these two. Now, does everyone understand what I want them to do? Have I made myself clear?
Crystal. Of course.
Sure.
Good. I think we're done here. Remember what I said? You can close the door on your way out.